here, since there's a problem with the reading off the discs, and then I can worry about, you know, the lid and stuff afterwards. So yeah, just you can see the ribbon cable there, looks like it's had a bit of a bash, but it might be okay. Just might be a bit of a crease.
Now, suddenly, if we have to do this, that means we've really cut down on the amount of room that we had. So now instead of a 10 by 10 room, now what we're getting is an 8 by 8 room. We've cut a lot of space out in order to get it. So that's one of the problems that we have. Not only that, what we had to do is we had to do a lot of construction, which, you know, maybe you don't want to do because it's expensive. But this is the way it works for isolation. All right. Here's principle number 2. We see this aquarium here. Think of sound exactly like water. Sound is like water. So what that means is, if you think about this room, for instance, what would happen if we filled it up with water? What do you think? It would probably leak out certain places, right? It would leak out usually around outlets, for instance, AC outlets. There might be some in between sheets of plasterboard. There'd be a space, it would go out of there. Around the door, it would leave. Around windows. Any place there's an airspace, bad. That means that even though you've built that second wall and you have what should be STC 63, if you have any little airspace, you've defeated the whole thing. Done, gone. The whole secret is you have to treat it like an aquarium. You have to seal everything up so there's no way that sound is ever going to leak out. So, this is what we use. You take notice the wall outlet. There's some acoustic putty, special putty, that we put around outlets, that we put around jack plates, for instance. Anything like that, we would have to put this acoustic putty around it. And that would basically seal it up. Now, the other thing we do is we would use something called green glue. So if you're going to put another piece of plasterboard on top of the first one that you have, you use this green glue, and then you screw everything down. So what you're going to do is glue it and screw it, and basically is really expensive. And usually you need a pretty, not this big, but you need a pretty big air conditioning unit. Want to know the cheap way to do it? I know you do.
Oh, yes.
Okay, this is something called a mini split. And I guarantee if you guys are going to build a studio, this is the way you want to go. You know why? Because it's in 2 pieces. There's an air compressor that sits outside that makes all the noise, and then there's a second piece that does all the duct work. And basically all you need is one small about a 1/2-inch pipe. Actually, there's 2 of them. And so one comes from the compressor, and you snake it through and you connect it to that, and the other one basically takes any of the mini split. So let's talk about the realities of isolation. They're not pretty. It's expensive. Anytime you want to add isolation, it's going to be a lot. It costs a lot in material. It costs a lot in labor. Not good. You have another problem. You're going to need permits to do this stuff. It's major construction. So it costs money to get the permit. Usually you need somebody, an expediter, put it together, because otherwise you'll spend months just waiting to get the permit cleared. So this is not something you can go into lightly. Third thing, there's a lot of hidden costs. What are the hidden costs? Okay, the air conditioning is one thing, where you just don't think about it usually. The second thing is there's always a problem when you're doing this, when you're adding something. For instance, I think
and presentations, and even spreadsheets. I'd like to invite Susan Prescott, our Vice President of Worldwide Apps Product Marketing, to tell you what's next with iWork. Susan?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Pages, Keynote, and Numbers are built to take advantage of iOS, macOS, and of course, our amazing devices. And iWork is all about making beautiful and engaging documents. But for people who want the power of iWork, there is just not a great way for them to work with classmates or colleagues.
I don't know whether that's me messing around with it or not, but look, there you go. There's a rip in the ribbon cable. Right, okay. I don't think it's probably not worth me messing around.
This is what happened after we launched Apple Watch. We became the #2 watch brand in the world, despite only shipping 8 months of 2015. We're also the top-selling smartwatch. But as everyone knows in here, what's really important to us is that we delight our customers. And I'm pleased to tell you that customers love the Apple Watch. Survey after survey, Apple Watch tops #1 in customer satisfaction, including the most recent J.D. Power smartwatch study. Now, so Apple Watch has set a very high bar about what a modern watch can be. But we are just getting started. And to tell you about what is next with Apple Watch.
But there's a time delay that's happening. So you have your low frequency coming out here, and then you're having others that bounce off and come out over here, and you're getting some cancellation. When you move it away, you have fewer of those happening. So all of a sudden your bass just tightens up. It sounds a little better.
The cable is far too long. I just want to see if this works now. I thought it was worth spending the £2 just for curiosity, rather than having to wait for the weeks until the proper one arrives from Hong Kong. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to plug it into the TV yet. I just want to see if the disc does spin up. So I'm going to plug it.
Use those? Okay, a few of you. What you'll find is your bass will get more defined. It'll get a little punchier. The reason why, when you put your speaker on a flat surface like this, on your desk where your computer is, you're hearing two different things. You're getting, first of all, the direct sound from the speaker, but it's also flowing through and vibrating
times around the world. More importantly, Pokemon trainers collectively have walked more than 4.6 billion kilometers while playing the game.
Okay, that helps. But what else do you notice?
The monitors look like they're set up well, they're like equidistant, they're in the right distance in the room, kind of symmetrically.
Could be, but there's something else. I'll show you that.
Right, ready? Right, okay, so obviously you don't mess around with this with your own eyes. Right, although this sounds like a silly thing to do, I've looked online and there's one forum where somebody's recommending this, and then a lot of the other posters have been saying, yes, thanks, it worked for me. So basically, it's a car product that's supposed to restore plastic. Now, I don't think it etches into it or anything like that. I think all it does is fills the scratches to make it look clean, and then I think it wears away again after so many weeks or months, and then it needs to be done again. So I believe if there's loads of scratches, if you were to zoom right up close to those scratches, let's say if they look like a V, so if you have like a plastic, well, pretend we have the lens here, if there was like a V out of it, then I believe that this fills up that V to make it, I don't know, to possibly allow the laser to go through it better. So I might as well give it a go, because I've kind of run out of other options now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a tiny little bit onto here, and then I'm not sure if you're supposed to shake this, and then I'm going to use a cotton bud and I'm just going to gently put it on, and then I've got a microfiber cloth to wipe it off. Right, let's see if that's made any difference at all. Oh, interesting. That time I turned it on, I didn't have to do the date again, so it's maybe the battery's okay. Battery's okay, but the disk drive don't work.
Bedspreads. Oh, that works too. Here's the secret though. If you can blow through it and feel your breath on the other side, then it works. Because acoustic-wise, it works. If you blow through it and you don't feel much on the other side, you have to try find another material. But that's real simple, real easy.